Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a really fascinating look at someone whose career, well, it spanned decades and really shifted things in the adult industry. Tiffany Mynx.
Absolutely. We're talking about, this bombshell figure from the 90s and 2000s, but the story behind the persona is just incredibly compelling.
Yeah, and that's our goal here, isn't it? To kind of dive into the sources, look beyond the image, and trace her journey. It's a story of resilience.
Totally. From a really tough start to becoming this award-winning performer, director, entrepreneur, a Hall of Famer multiple times over. It's quite the arc.
So let's set the scene a bit. Born Shannon Colleen Cummings, October 10th, 1971, in Upland, California. Known for, well, her distinctive look. 5'3.5" currents, very recognizable figure.
And those accolades you mentioned, Avian Hall of Fame, XRCO Hall of Fame, it signals major respect within the industry.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning, because that's key to understanding her drive, right? The early years were difficult.
Difficult is putting it mildly. The sources paint a picture of serious family conflict. She was the oldest, one younger brother, and her relationship with her father was apparently very strained.
There's that alleged quote, isn't there? That he told her she'd grow up and be nothing but a loser.
Yeah. I mean, imagine hearing that as a kid. That kind of thing can really shape your path, either by crushing you or fueling you.
And it seems like it fueled her to get out. She ran away more than once, the sources say.
Repeatedly. And then left for good at 17. But, escaping one situation didn't immediately mean stability.
No, it sounds like things got even more complicated pretty quickly. She became pregnant shortly after leaving home.
Right. And she reached out to her family, kind of a desperate moment, you'd imagine.
Only to be turned away again. They apparently refused to help if she kept the baby.
Which is just, wow. So now she's young, pregnant, estranged from her family. And then she ends up in an abusive relationship with the baby's father.
It's just one challenge after another. She left him, but then there was that brief reconciliation when her son Nathan was about 5 months old.
Yeah, which is sadly not uncommon in those situations, right? Lack of resources, maybe hope things will change.
But it didn't last.
Yeah.
The breaking point was violent.
Extremely. She said she left for good after he actually swung at her while she was holding the baby. That's a line you don't cross. Protection mode kicks in.
Absolutely. Survival instinct, not just for her, but for her son. So that pushes her towards L.A.
Yeah, in 92. But not for fame, not yet. She moved in with her grandmother, focused on finishing school, saving money, trying to build some kind of foundation.
She eventually got her own place, but it wasn't ideal, was it?
No, it was cheap and apparently pretty unsafe. She described it as just barely existing. And that's when the Hollywood dream started to flicker. But maybe not in the way you'd think.
Not about acting, but
more about the nightlife, actually. Hitting places like the Whiskey, the Rainbow. She was looking for excitement, maybe some emotional connection, safety. Definitely not wanting to live that loser life her father predicted.
that deep need for safety and maybe feeling valued. Okay, so how does she get from that point, trying to survive, to actually finding a path?
Money. She needed it.
Yeah.
Fast. So she started working as an exotic dancer, a stripper, in Hollywood.
And that worked. It provided stability.
It did, yeah. She managed to save up, get a better place. It's kind of amazing she mentions her son, who was only about 1 year old then, was often around that social scene.
Really?
Yeah, she said everyone in Hollywood thought he was the coolest kid. It just shows her trying to make it work, creating this unconventional family unit.
Okay, so she's dancing, she's making money, she has her son.
Yeah.
How does the jump to film happen? Was that the plan?
Not really, no. It was almost accidental, opportunity knocking. She had a driver, also a bodyguard, who did some work on film sets.
And he suggested a gig.
Exactly. Called her and a friend, said they could make good money as extra girls on a set. She went along, probably thinking it was just background work.
But it wasn't just background work.
Nope. She described it as very direct. She walked in, they asked her to take her clothes off, and then immediately said, okay, we want you for 2 sex scenes. Just like that.
Wow. So her first film was The DJ for VCA.
That's the one. And then right after, The Good, the Bad, and the Horny. So boom, she is in the industry.
But still kind of figuring things out, right? Like how the business actually worked.
Totally. She didn't know the ropes at all initially. Then she met Tony Tedeschi, another performer.
And he clued her in.
Yeah, he asked her who her agent was, and she was like, agent? What agent? She had no idea that was even a thing in porn.
Ah, that's kind of funny. But that connection changed everything.
Big time. Once she got hooked up with an agency, her career just exploded. She started working constantly.
And it wasn't just the money, although that must have been huge for her and her son.
Crucial. But she said it was more than that. She felt alive, beautiful, energetic, and sexy. Like, for the first time, she had stability, a career, a real life for her son. It was the complete opposite of what she'd been told she would be.
That's powerful. So she's established, working constantly. How does she define the Tiffany Mynx brand from there?
Well, volume, for one. Over 400 films, maybe closer to 500 according to some sources, but also versatility. She wasn't just one type.
Right. She became known for certain things, didn't she? Things maybe other performers shied away from.
Definitely. Anal scenes were a big part of her brand, but also like really uninhibited performances, multiple partners, fetish work, BDSM. She wasn't afraid to go there.
Which probably set her apart, especially as fetish and BDSM started getting a bit more visible in the late 90s.
Exactly. She was carving out a niche and getting recognized for it. Awards started rolling in pretty early.
Like the AVN Awards. Those are the big ones, right?
The Oscars of the industry,
Right.
yeah. She won Best Group Sex Scene in '93 for Face Dance 1, then Best Anal Sex Scene in '94 for Sodomania 5.
And she had fan appeal, too, not just industry respect. Those FOXE awards.
Female fan favorite, yeah. Won that in '94 and again in '98. That shows staying power, connecting with the audience directly.
And the recognition continued later in her career, too.
A 2007 AVN for Best Sex Scene, coupling with Manuel Ferrara for Slave Dolls 2. But the ultimate seals of approval were the Halls of Fame.
Right. AVN in 2001, XRCO in 2003, Legends of Erotica in 2006. That's legendary status, literally.
It is. It speaks to longevity, impact, respect across the board.
What's interesting, though, is that quote where she talks about acting. Even with all this success as a performer, she wanted something more.
Yeah, it's revealing. She said she preferred sex scenes to dialogue, practically speaking, because they were faster to shoot. But she wanted roles with more dialogue, wanted to show she could act, maybe even win an acting award someday.
So there was this artistic ambition there, beyond just the physical performance.
Seems like it. And maybe that connects to her next big move, stepping behind the camera, taking control.
Ah, yes. The move into directing and producing. That feels like the ultimate expression of independence in that business.
Totally. She directed The Toe Story. And then for Ass Woman in Wonderland in 1998, she did it all. Wrote, produced, directed, and starred. That's a power move.
Taking the reins completely. Was that when she started her own companies?
Exactly. Tiffany Mynx Productions, Pagan Pictures. She wasn't just talent anymore. She was the boss. Controlling the narrative, the budget, her own image, her time, which, as a mother, must have been incredibly important.
That makes sense. Managing that level of performing career while raising kids. Shifting to directing gives you more control over your schedule. Was this drive for control just practical or maybe part of her personality?
Well, it's interesting. Some external analyses categorize her personality type. ISFP is one suggestion.
Meaning?
Sensitive, driven by internal values, maybe a unique perspective, artistic.
Yeah.
And also Enneagram 5W4.
Okay, what does that imply?
Independent, observant, maybe a bit eccentric or unconventional, definitely values self-sufficiency. That profile fits really well with someone who decides, okay, I'm going to build my own thing.
That need for autonomy seems to show up in her personal choices, too, like with the breast implants.
Oh, yeah, that's a great example. She said she'd always wanted them, but people in the industry, photographers, directors, even fans pressured her not to change her look.
Because it's part of her brand, right?
Right. But then, after a big life change, leaving her husband, starting her own company, she went ahead and did it.
And her reason.
For me, because I always wanted to.
Yeah.
Pure self-determination. In an industry focused on the body, she took control of her own.
There's another quote that stands out about discovering her sexuality through her work.
She said she didn't know she liked girls until she started doing scenes with women in porn, and that it made her feel good. So the career became this space for, like, personal discovery, too.
It's fascinating how intertwined the personal and professional were for her. And maybe the most significant personal development was reconnecting with her family.
That really feels like closing a circle, doesn't it? The sources say she eventually developed a great relationship with them and that they were very proud of her success.
After that incredibly painful start. That's huge. Her mother, in particular.
Yeah, her mom apparently appreciated that the job, despite its nature, offered flexibility. Tiffany could make really good money, but still be very present for her kids.
And she had more children later on.
Yes, 2 sons initially, and then sources mention a 3rd child born around 2007. That same year, she famously posed pregnant for Hustler, another bold move.
She definitely wasn't afraid to challenge conventions, so she eventually retired.
Officially retired in 2017, yeah. There was a brief comeback period before that, working with studios like Bang Bros and Brazzers, but then she stepped away for good.
So when we pull it all together, this deep dive, what do we see?
We see these two narratives running side by side, don't we? The personal struggle.
Hmm.
The runaway kid, the abuse survivor, the single mom facing rejection, just trying to survive.
And then the professional powerhouse.
Yeah.
The award winner, the director, the entrepreneur, the Hall of Famer, someone who built an empire and stability against all odds.
Exactly. That ISFP 5W4 profile, that independence and unique viewpoint, wasn't just a personality type. It was like her toolkit for turning that loser prophecy completely on its head.
It's an incredible transformation.
Oh.
So here's something to think about for you listening.
Yeah, consider this. She achieved incredible success, financial freedom, industry respect, control over her work as a director and owner. She defied every expectation.
But she still expressed that desire, that unmet ambition for more serious acting roles, for maybe a different kind of artistic validation.
So the question is, what does success really mean when you've conquered one world but still feel a pull towards another? Especially for someone with that artistic, maybe more introverted ISFP inclination. Does that creative itch ever fully go away, even after you've seemingly won everything?